Now I'm ready, Erica.
Great, it's great. Good evening to you, Sarah, and good evening to SCA Korea. Thank you, everyone, for following who's here today live. Sure, sounds great. Well, first, thank you for hosting this today, Sarah. And I think, did you tell everyone that you're going to translate even our Instagram Live with some subtitles in the future, right? Great, yeah. Okay. So the idea behind this course that we're going to offer in 2022 as the latest offering from SCA Education. And I'm really honored that I was one of the members of the original creators team. Of course, all of us in coffee never do anything alone, right? We always have a team with us and around us. We had a global advisory board as well when we created the curriculum. And I've been so excited to be able to have taught this course all around the world, actually, with students all around the world. I am currently living in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. So we are 1 hour ahead of Eastern Standard Time, 1 hour ahead of New York. So it's just the early morning for me. I'm so happy to start my day with all of you. And the idea is that we're going to offer in January the English only course for foundation. And then in March, we're going to offer, I'll be, of course, speaking in English, but Sarah will be translating for me in Korean. So we welcome all of you for SCA Korea. This is actually a private sequence of classes in January and March, only for SCA Korea. If any of you are following and you're from other parts around the world, you're welcome to join any of my other courses, but this one is special. And a little bit about me is that right now I'm teaching at a university here in Nova Scotia, Canada. The university is called Dalhousie, and I'm teaching a course. It's a social science course in the field of international development. It's called Coffee and Development, and it's my course that I created specifically for this university. And what a lot of my work and my research focuses on is the human side of our global coffee chain. And what I'm really looking at the most are the social, sometimes the economic aspects, of course, but I'm not an economist. My background is in literature and in political science and currently in international development. So that's one of the ways I'm approaching coffee. I also myself am still learning, like all of you. We're all learning in coffee all the time, right? And so I'm focusing on my own sensory training. I'm going to be doing the Cup of Excellence training as well soon. So I am very just always excited about the ways that we come together in coffee. I started as a barista in the 1990s. Before I even knew what the word sustainability meant. So it's coming full circle now. Yes.
Can you explain them?
Yes. Well, you know, it had been brewing, pun intended, right, for quite some time. SCA had been thinking about sustainability, of course, for many years, but there had been a growing interest in having some kind of training and some kind of, you know, course through SCA so that all of you can have a certificate and, you know, use this as part of your official coffee education. So let's see, it was 2018. Our creator team spent so much time. Actually, we joke sometimes about how many emails we all had between us as we were thinking and creating this program. And then the first time ever that the course launched was actually at SCA EXPO in Boston, 2019. So it's still actually new, everyone. So there's a lot of room for growth and for training in this program. Especially, I want to give a shout out to any ASTs who are here. I would love for some of you SCA Korean ASTs to join this course because you all are the ones who need to teach this in Korea. I just hope that I can help launch this with all of you, and especially with you, Sarah. Thank you so much for all of your time and your effort with this. Well, thank you for asking. It's a good question. So for any AST in any of the SCA curriculums, you are welcome to join the class. If you're joining the January class, then your English needs to be good enough that you can understand me. Obviously, I'm talking right now in English, so if you can understand me clearly now, then that's a good start. Also, English writing and English reading. And that's for the January course. But if you don't have, if your English is not that strong yet, then you can join the March class and it will be in translation. So in terms of any other skills for ASTs, please just join the foundation. And then if you're interested in, the ideas and learning more, then of course we'll offer intermediate and professional in the future. The sustainability program is like all the other programs where there's the 3 levels of training. So if you're an AST, you would need to complete all 3 in order to teach at the end of all that training.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I think, part of this, Sarah, is this is the first time for both of us, right? To teach this class. Even you're going to be in the January class, even though you've taken foundation before, right? Mm-hmm. So I think this is part of the idea, is to get it going, because we want to see what the interest is, and we want to see, how many of you would be able to do the English. Of course, we're such a global coffee chain, and so at this time, it makes sense to try it both ways. So we'll see. But I should also say, maybe you already said this, Sarah, but we are also limiting the number of students who can participate in both January and March. So that's another reason why we're hoping that maybe offering both, it can give more people the opportunity to join. Because we want to make sure that if you're in the class, that you have some individual attention from me, also that we can answer the questions. So of course we'll be on Zoom, so we'll all have our video cameras on, but to the extent that's possible through Zoom, I hope to get to know some of you and learn about your work in coffee. Yes. Right. In fact, one of the other creators who, we were on the original team together, we actually are finishing a professional course now. We have 6 students. All 6 are in different countries around the world. Unfortunately, none from South Korea yet, but hopefully that will change. So, yeah. So we're doing it all online. I think for those of you who are also thinking about your own business as educators, this is an opportunity for you to be able to be among the first to have this training yourself, and then hopefully go on to teach it as well. For those of you who might be just joining, I want to say this again, that the idea here is that I'm just starting this with all of you as one of the creators of the program. I really hope that, you will take this learning and then you all go and you teach it yourselves to each other and see what, principles are especially applicable for Korea.
Right.
Well, this is one of the big challenges, and why I think the class is so important is because what we're talking about when we're talking about sustainability is something that in large part has a lot of culture and a lot of human interpretation around it, and this is why I think, as someone myself who is a background in literature and in political science and in international development, I'm approaching everything that I'm talking about with sustainability from the human point of view. I think a lot of us are so grateful for the scientists who are doing such very important work in coffee. They're thinking about coffee seeds and resilience and varietals and all of these aspects of environmental sustainability. That's so important because, of course, we need, really resilient varietals for the future. But we also need resilient people throughout our global supply chain of people. So that is the main approach for this class when we talk about sustainability. We will absolutely talk about environmental sustainability for sure. I've lived in Kenya and I've spent a lot of time in different coffee farm estates and different situations, but I'm not a scientist, so I'm not going to approach it from the science. I would encourage all of you, I mean, if you've had the chance to go to a coffee producing country, please join the class. But even if you have not, please join the class because I'll give you examples, and of course, I'll be using a PowerPoint, so I'll be able to use, some pictures from, friends and colleagues that have allowed me to share pictures from my travels with all of you. So no, we'll talk about it from a real life point of view, from different parts of the supply chain. And I also mentioned this earlier, but I know some of you, I can see some of you are just joining, is that I was a barista. That's how I started in coffee in the middle of the 1990s. And so please, baristas, come join the class because you are so important for thinking about not just how you deliver the coffee in a cafe or wherever you're serving your coffee, but also, so you have a bigger global understanding of what's going on and how do we have, this drink that is such a gift. And it's such a privilege to be able to enjoy coffee, and we might not always have it. So I hope we can enjoy it together as much as possible. Yeah, well, again, it's a good question, Sarah, and I think people will ask this, especially after they experience the foundation class. So the way we're doing both the January and the March foundation classes is it's an 4 weeks with the training is 8 hours live online for January. Okay. And so the idea is we do 2 hours each week. So 2 hours for 4 weeks, and we'll be live. You need to be there at the time of the class because it's live synchronous. It's not something where you have the recording and then you get it later. So that's important, is that we picked a time that hopefully is good for Korea. So then in the March class, we're actually making the time a little longer because of the translation. So for the time for the translation. And for that class, we're actually doing 5 weeks with 2 or 2.5 hours. So you can see the schedule that will be posted there. I think what we'll do is we'll see how many of you are interested, because I think if a lot of you want to have intermediate with Korean translation, we can do it, absolutely. But we'll need some time to plan that, and we can do that in 2022 if you all have the interest after you take the foundation. As a newer program at the beginning, we actually had an exception as a sustainability class for a certain time period where we didn't have to wait the 3 months like the other programs do between foundation and intermediate. However, practically speaking, it still may be a time gap in terms of, what we can offer. And then if you do want to take the intermediate class, that one is generally, the way I teach it online is it's a 6 to 8 week class online. So it's longer because it's more work, it's a higher level, but also can be fully online. I've done it in person and online. And then after that is the professional level. Now that one is a 6-month class. Also can be fully online, and I've taught it that way. So, if you're serious about sustainability and if you really want the whole suite, the whole set of the programs, I encourage you to write to Sarah and write to SCA Korea and tell her that you're interested in all 3, because we could even start to plan it if there's interest.
That's great. I mean, that's really great to hear.
Yeah.
There was a comment from Moon Suyan Moon, that she said, I don't know if it's she or her, him, expect that this course would give a more wide perspective to coffee industry and coffee chain. That's really good, right?
Absolutely. You have the perfect idea. Yes, it will be, it's okay. So it's a broad class. I'm approaching it globally. So even though right now I'm living in Canada, I'm not approaching this only from a Canadian point of view, okay? And actually, I'm going to give you lots of examples from East Africa, especially from Kenya and Rwanda. So, so it will absolutely be broad. I will absolutely be thinking about so many different people and so many different human hands that coffee is passing through, right? So we'll think about that. And then I also want to just say, Sarah, before we say goodbye, is that I hope that even within the Korean coffee community, that there will be a diverse group of coffee professionals. And we welcome many of you who have interest from a wide variety of coffee jobs. And even I wonder if some of you, maybe you're not currently in a coffee job. Maybe even with COVID, you know, you've had some challenges, and I know all of us around the world, you know, there's been a lot of job shifting and a lot of job loss. So maybe you can use this opportunity for this training to help with a certificate that might assist you in some training and some job possibilities. So please don't feel that you have to take the class only if you're currently working in coffee. You can join the class even if you just love to drink coffee or you want to learn more. So we created the foundation class with that kind of openness, okay? So
That's
please
really
welcome.
great. I mean, it's really good to know. And there must be people like who are watching aren't in the coffee industry, but they really like it. And
Yes.
because of the COVID and the current situation, they might be thinking of their new career, like developing their own, you know, builds up. And this might be a good chance for them to start like their new career. And there are many new jobs, like, you know, created these days.
Yes.
So this may be one of the chance that they could actually face. Thanks for that.
Yes, it's, I
And
mean, COVID it's been terrible for all of us around the whole world, and especially for coffee, right? We know about how many coffee containers have been stuck at different ports around the world, right? And, you know, the coffee sustainability jobs, they are there. You know, there are many new jobs being created around, you know, different ways to think about how are we going to solve these challenges in coffee together. We have to do it together. None of us can do this alone because the challenge is too big. So, you know, the foundation class gives this base, you know, general, open, you know, way of seeing coffee. And I just hope some of you can join. And if, Sarah, I don't know, are there any other questions that people had that we wanted to address before we say goodbye?
There's a comment from Alex Lee 130. Two of my staff have recently taken the course here locally with Erika, and they are already being a great impact in our shops, being ambassadors for coffee sustainability. Hot. Thanks again, Erika. So
thank you, Alex. I thank you so much. I love that you are here, and how nice to have a fellow Halgonian here. Yeah, Alex is with Java Blend, and it's such a great coffee company here. I really respect what you guys are doing. I also want to say that I know that, you know, a lot of us are thinking about the competitions. You know, it's such, hopefully we can, you know, start to celebrate again. Of course, we just had World Barista Champions in Milan. I wish I could have been there. But, you know, hopefully this will start again. And I really hope that some of you who maybe are training for different competitions, that you'll consider joining as well. Because it's, again, it's part of the narrative and the story that you are telling when you're thinking about the coffees that you're using in your competitions, right? That sustainability is a big part of the story too. So
thank you. And I can see Song Hee Tark she commented, in professional class with Erika now, and 100% recommend anyone wanting to understand more about the industry to take the foundation course. So thank you, Sung-hee, for commenting.
Oh, thank you, Sung-hee. Thank you, Sung-hee. Yes, so she's going to finish the course actually next week. So then she'll have her professional certificate after next week. So
that's amazing.
Yeah,
wow.
She's done a great job.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for your time, Erika.
I'm so happy to see you. You know, Sarah, I'm not a morning person. Yeah, but I woke up for you and for SCA Korea today, and I'm so glad I did.
Thanks so much for your time and your effort of waking up so early.
Yes.
Where's your coffee?
Well, I had Kenyan. I have this really special Kenyan coffee that I was actually saving. The last set of the beans for all of you. This is I'm drinking Detour Coffee Roasters, which is a coffee roastery in Ontario, Canada. And it's actually a Kenyan coffee with the 4 different varietals that are available and created in Kenya. So, as I said earlier, we'll approach the foundation class from many points of view, and I look forward to doing that with all of you.
Wow, looking forward to it.
Yeah, great, Sarah. All right, well, I hope you all have a lovely evening and sleep well, and I'm going to go enjoy my day.